Good morning, year 5. I hope you had a great weekend. So, last week on Thursday, we have done with our plants lesson. It was a lovely lesson. I had so much fun with you guys teaching this lesson. We're done with it, and it's worksheets and classwork and homework and everything. Tomorrow I will be answering or correcting your Thursday homework due today. And today, guys, in our lesson, we're going to start talking about a new subject, and it's a very interesting subject that I think lots of you have discussed it with me before, and lots of you have lots of questions and interest in this specific subject. So we're going to start talking about space in this starting this lesson. So we're going to just start with a soft start. We are going to learn about two of the main objects that are found in space and that directly affects us on Earth. We're going to talk about Earth too, and we're going to talk about all of the solar system parts. So today we're going to talk about two only of the main parts in our solar system and in our space, which are the sun and the moon. So the lesson's name is What Happens as Earth Moves Around the Sun. We will learn more about the effect that the Earth we have or we get when the Earth moves around the sun, and also when the Earth moves around itself. But before this, we have to learn about the main parts that causes this effect. So first, we're going to talk about the sun. So the sun, guys, is the main part actually of our solar system. Without the sun, there will be no life on Earth. The sun is mainly a medium-sized star. I know that it looks huge for us, but this is because it's the closest star to us. It's a star, of course, as you know, and it's medium-sized. It just looks so big or enormous for us because it's the closest star to us, and that's why we feel like it's huge. But actually, other stars that you may have been seen in the sky could be bigger than the sun, but they are in other galaxies, and they are much bigger or huge than our sun. But because they are far away from us, we see it as a tiny dot or a very small object, but actually they could be much larger than our sun. So our sun is a medium-sized star, and as I told you, it's very close, and it's the largest object in our solar system. It's a star, and we call it a star because it gives out heat and light, and the cause of this heat and light is the kind of chemical reactions that occur inside the star due to the breaking of some atoms, of some gas atoms, and that's why it caused this glowing or this bursts of flame that you see coming out of the sun because of those reactions that occur in gases, mainly hydrogen and helium. So it is a huge glowing sphere of hot gas, mainly hydrogen and helium. So let's watch now a video that talks about the sun and what happens inside the sun and how the sun affects our life.
Pop quiz. What's the closest star to Earth? It's called Sol. Never heard of it, you say? Sure you have. Sol is the sun. Ancient Romans, who once worshipped the sun, called it Sol, and it's become the kind of official scientific name for the sun. It's where the term solar system comes from. Sol, or the sun, is the star at the center of our 8-planet solar system that provides us with energy. Without the sun, Earth would be a dark, frozen world with no life. But how does the sun's energy get to us? Well, first, let's talk about what the sun is. It's a 5 billion-year-old big ball of super hot gas. The hottest part of the sun is its core, or center, which is about 15 million degrees Celsius. Whoa. Its surface is not quite as hot, but it's still almost 5,600 degrees Celsius, which is pretty toasty if you ask me. And as for its size, the sun is so huge, you can line up over 100 Earths along the face of it, and more than 1 million Earths could fit inside it. But the sun's size isn't what makes it seem so big and bright to us on Earth. It's because it's so close to us that it seems way, 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 way bigger and brighter than other stars. So, you know that the sun is hot and bright, and that heat and light are both kinds of energy that we get from the sun. Let's take a look at a model to see how the sun's energy gets from good old Sol to our planet. Here's the sun. Energy is created in its super hot 15 million degree core. That energy then travels outward from the core to the surface of the sun. But this journey from the center of the sun to its surface can take over 100,000 years to complete. But once the energy deep inside the sun finally gets to the surface, it travels as light and heat all the way to Earth. In fact, it only takes about 8 minutes for light to travel approximately 150 million kilometers through space to Earth over here. That's not such a long time. So to sum up, energy is created in the sun's core. It travels very slowly to the sun's surface before it takes a super speedy trip to Earth in the form of light and heat. And you and I can see and feel that energy as sunlight. Without the heat and light we get from the sun, Earth would be just a frozen ball floating around in space, which would be a total bummer. So, thanks, Sol. You're a real star.
So the second object in our space that directly affects us on Earth is, of course, the moon. And the moon, guys, is a natural satellite that revolves around the sun. What is the meaning of satellite? It's any object that orbits around the Earth in a specific orbit or in a specific way of rotation. So the moon is a natural one which got created, or it's already occurred in the space. People did not launch it to the space and it started to satellite Earth. No, it's a natural satellite that already was in space, and there are many theories of how this moon has started to rotate around Earth or started to call Earth home. So it actually rotates, the moon rotates around its axis, and it rotates only also around the Earth. It is roughly spherical in shape, so we can call it a sphere. And as I told you, it's a natural satellite as it orbits the Earth. It takes about 28 days for the moon to orbit the Earth a full rotation. The moon is not shiny. In fact, it looks very bright because it reflects the light of the sun. And it changes its shape and starts to become darker at some parts, and sometimes all of it becomes dark because of its angle towards the sun light, if it's in the shade of, or if it's in a place where it does not reflect or cannot reflect the sun's light, it appears to us like it has been cut to half, or it turned into a crescent. That's why we feel like the moon changes its shape. It actually does not changes its shape. It just moves from a place where it can reflect the sunlight into a place where it's shade, or it's away from the sunlight that it cannot reflect it. So now I'm going to show you a video, guys, of the movement of the moon, and what the moon is, and why does it change its shape. And that will be it for today's lesson. We're just making a soft start so that we can tomorrow talk more about the earth, and how it is related, everything that happens in our lives, how is it related to the sun and the moon. I'm just giving you the two main things that affects our lives every day as a soft start, and tomorrow we're going to head for the much juicier part of our lesson. So we're going to watch the video, and that will be it for today. Tomorrow we're going to, as I told you, continue talking about this. We're going to have some classwork, we're going to have some homework, and also we're going to correct Thursday's homework. I hope I see you tomorrow very well. So see you tomorrow, guys, and bye bye.
Beautiful and mysterious, peaceful and serene. The moon is the brightest object in the night sky. Jupiter and Saturn have more than 60 moons each. Neptune has 13 moons. Even Mars has 2 moons, but the Earth, our planet, only has 1 moon, our nearest neighbor in space. Even though the moon is close to us when compared to other planets, it is still very, very far away. The moon is about 239,000 miles, or 384,000 kilometers away. You would have to travel all the way around the Earth 9.5 times to go the same distance as the space between the Earth and the moon. The moon is much smaller than the Earth. If the Earth was hollow, about 50 moons could fit inside. Because it is so much smaller than the Earth, the moon's gravity is much weaker. This means that if you were to visit the moon, you would weigh much less than you do on Earth. Only about 1/6 of your current weight. That means that if a giraffe was on the moon, it would only weigh as much as a tiger on the Earth. Although we can see it shining brightly at night, the moon does not have any light of its own. Instead, the light of the moon is really reflected light from the sun that bounces off of the rocky, dusty surface of the moon so that we can see it from Earth. Because of the way that the moon orbits the Earth, sometimes the sun lights up different parts of it. This makes the moon appear to change its shape from one night to the next. These different shapes of the moon are called its phases. It takes about 29 days for the moon to go through all of its phases and begin them again. Because it is so big and bright and close to us, the moon has always attracted the attention of curious people. But in the mid-20th century, people around the world began to be more interested in space. For the first time, humans launched rockets that were able to escape Earth's gravity and atmosphere and explore what lay beyond. After a lot of work and many tests, humans were able to visit the moon for the first time. On July 20th, 1969, the astronauts of America's Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon. On July 21st, Neil Armstrong became the first person to step upon the moon's surface. The moon has no atmosphere, which means there was no air for them to breathe. The moon also has extreme temperatures, boiling hot in the sun and freezing cold in the shadows. For this reason, the astronauts needed special suits and equipment to protect them on the moon, to keep them the right temperature and allow them to breathe. No one has visited the moon for more than 40 years, but the footprints made by the astronauts who walked on its surface are still there. That is because there is no wind or water on the moon to wash the footprints away. Unless a meteorite hits the moon and smashes them, those footprints might last for hundreds or even thousands of years. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the moon today. Goodbye till next time.